I know the video just started, but I want you to close your eyes. Stick with me for a second and imagine this hypothetical scenario I'm going to paint out for you right now. You are you, except you currently live and are stationed in San Diego. Your family's there, your friends are there, your job is there, whatever. But you have this premonition, this is a vision rather, that the partner of your dreams, guy or gal, the significant other of your wildest dreams currently lives in New York City. You are convinced of this. And so you decide one day, okay, you know what? I've got some time off of work. I'm going to go to New York City to go find this person. So now, in our hypothetical situation, you are in New York City. You've been there for a couple days looking for this person, and you walk into a dimly lit New York bar. And there, sitting at the bar, is the person of your dreams, the most attractive person you've ever met. Now, you know, in order to get their attention, you're going to need to captivate them with a fact about yourself. So you sit down next to them, you order a drink, you turn to them, and you say, I just flew across the entire country to be here. On average, their response is probably going to be something like, cool, man, whatever. Okay, rewind. Now imagine you sit down next to them, order your drink, and you say, I just drove across the entire country to be here. Now their response is probably going to be a little different. They're going to be like, oh, interesting. You know, where did you come from? How was the drive? Which direction did you go? Whatever. Rewind one more time. Now imagine you sit down next to this person and you look them in the eye and you say, I walked across the entire country to sit down here next to you. Now their reaction is going to be a lot more, they're going to be far more intrigued. They're going to be like, they're going to have all these follow-up questions, right? Like, why? What, how was it? Was it scary? Was it hard? What was the motivation behind it? Okay, you can open your eyes now because I would like to illustrate a point about something that recently happened to me. I, for the very first time in my adult life, was fooled by an AI-generated image. I like to think that I'm someone that has a pulse on the imperfections of a photo. I feel like I'm able to tell like what's heavily edited, what's not edited, whatever. I saw this photo that looked just like a 35 millimeter photograph. And it was beautiful. It was one of the coolest images I feel like I've ever seen. And immediately I had all these questions. I was like, what was the motivation behind this photo? What was the technique used to achieve this look? How was the shot? What time of day was this shot? Who are these people in this photo? And after doing some digging, I came to find that this image that I had fallen completely in love with was AI generated. There was no effort put into it other than just prompting. Obviously, up until this point, there's been a ton of discussion surrounding the topic of artificial intelligence and the implication it has on the creative process. I think I hear a lot more of the pessimistic side of things. And even though this is Evil Schaefer, I would like to share with you as someone who just for the first time has fallen for an AI-generated image, I want to tell you my optimistic viewpoint on all of this. Artificial intelligence is hopping on the plane from San Diego to New York. And even though it's winding up in a lot of cases, in a lot of instances, in basically the same place as that of someone who walked across the country, it's lacking something that's really, really important. It's lacking something that human beings engage with, that intrigues human beings, and that is backstory. Something that makes humanity very special is that we have this incredible thing called empathy. And empathy is what leads us to be interested in reading books and watching movies and all these sorts of things in the first place. We have the ability to connect to the backstories and the histories and the experiences of other people. And through those experiences, we are able to grow and become better and sharper and smarter. And that's basically what school is, right? It's handing down knowledge of past generations so that we can advance ourselves and our communities. And it's a very collaborative existence. And the whole prospect of artificial intelligence is not entirely collaborative. I mean, one of the main critiques of the whole thing is that it's essentially a plagiarism machine. It takes a bunch of different, sources and everything, and it compiles it into one thing that looks slightly different. And a counter argument is, well, that's basically what humans do. We're sort of the product of everything we've ever experienced. But the difference there is that we're the product of everything we've ever experienced. We experience things. We creative people who make things, we experience stuff. It's like we're walking across the country. There's so much more there. There's so much more substance than just hopping on a plane and being in New York City in 4 hours. Newton's third law says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And I think the action of AI has been very scary and very easy to be pessimistic about. But I am looking forward to the reaction that comes as an inevitable twin. What I mean by that is the reaction is, I do think there is going to be far more value placed on handmade things. And if you don't believe me, a really good example of this is even just the thrift shopping world. Like it wasn't all that long ago, like 2003, I guess, where we would all just, go to thrift shops existed, but for the most part, we just go to H&M and get a $7 t-shirt that had a NASA logo on it. And that was fine. And thrift shopping was kind of something for like the other. It was for like the lower class. It's like, if you couldn't afford the $7 H&M shirt, you go get a $3 shirt from the Goodwill or whatever. But as things got more and fast fashion grew and grew and grew, and the Nordstrom rack and the H&M, it just got boring. The equal and opposite reaction was the growth of the vintage or the secondhand or the thrift shopping movement. It's like the coolest trend ever. It's like the best for everyone. It keeps stuff out of landfills. And more importantly, in my opinion, I don't know if I could say more importantly, but more interestingly to me is those pieces, whether they be clothes or items or whatever, all have backstories. There's the empathy, there's the tangibility. And I just think we as people, as things get more and more and more digital, as things get more and more popularized or simple or whatever, is like we always tend to trend back towards that which feels real, that which we can actually connect with. I feel similarly about film. I talk a lot on this channel and my other channel about how lately I've been shooting so much more film, be it photography or be it I'm shooting 16 millimeter video a lot now and absolutely loving it. I'm loving the process. I'm loving that I get the film back at the end. I have something tangible. I like that there's like chemicals that are reacting to the actual light. The whole process feels very real to me. And that's probably like an extremely zillennial thing to say. Like I want this all to feel real and tangible and fill in the blank with whatever buzzword. But behind the buzzword, there's a pretty sincere desire to be alive. And I think the idea of us being alive is so prevalent now because, what is artificial intelligence alive? I don't know. Can it smell the cottonwood tree outside my house? No, but I can. And so I am more conscious about going out and doing that every evening. I feel more alive. Like the more digitally weighted the world gets, for me anyway, and the way that I see this and my optimistic perspective is the more I value my actual life that other people can relate with and empathize with. And I think when it comes to YouTube and storytelling and like creating like content or whatever, I think now is kind of a golden age because more than ever, like I think people want to hear real stories. They want to connect to real things. And just in the spirit of everything I just talked about, I thought it would be fun to go over a couple photos that I just got on this camera. This is a point and shoot camera. There are no manual settings at all. This is like the golden age of technology in my eyes because it was when technology enhanced life instead of sort of replaced life. But I love these photos. I got the roll of film wet, and so they have this like crazy texture on them. And just in the spirit of celebrating our real life, I want to go over some recent photos I took of mine. This first one is just down the street from where I live. I try to ride my bike around town around blue hour or sunset every night and just breathe in the fresh air. And I took this photo from my bike of just this beautiful cottonwood tree. And like I said, the roll of film got wet. And so it has this like crazy texture, especially down near the bottom of the frame. There's just this really, really cool like purplish scratch kind of. I also think the advancing mechanism on this film scratches the film, which I actually really like. So really happy with that one. This is a photo I took on my drive home from the adjacent town. The camera, being from the 80s, didn't quite catch focus, but I love this photo so much. The out of focus for I guess just composition of it kind of makes it a little bit more intriguing, a little bit more mysterious. And I'm super thankful for this photograph. This is me at Casa Bonita. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. But this was me standing next to Big Bertha. I didn't get a high score, but me and her had a good time. So yeah, again, you can see some of those film scratches. You can see some of the halation on the highlights. Just a beautiful moment. And it's cool. This is also me driving around town when it rains. I like to go out and use this camera because, like I said, if it gets wet, the film tends to get wet. It's not very like weather sealed, and I like what the water does to the film. And so I took this out of my car window as I was driving by these two guys. One of them's on a bike, the other one's running, and that to me is just friendship. This moment right here, try and replicate that with artificial intelligence. Try to freaking come up with something. Not necessarily the image. I'm not talking about the image. I'm talking about the moment. This one is right after I took the photo of the guys running. This is just a little house that I really like. It's kind of shabby. It's kind of falling apart, but it's real. And again, those scratches on the film, I just really like that. Similar, same drive, just took this photo of this house on a hill. I really like this one. I like the composition, and I like to imagine the life that happens up on that hill. And I'm sure they've seen all kinds of amazing sunsets up there. This is me driving again back from the adjacent town, and this is Tomichi Creek gas station. It's like the most expensive gas station of all time because it's like the only one for a very long distance in both directions. And again, the camera didn't quite catch focus. And it was raining, so there's a lot of just imperfections in this photo. And I'll be able to look back on this photo and imagine that drive pretty much forever now. I'll never forget what it's like to drive by Tomichi Creek gas station. It feels a lot like this photo looks. This is on Monarch Pass. It's kind of the sketchier mountain pass I have to deal with regularly. And I took this out of my windshield. I've been really inspired by the photography of Todd Hildo. And you'll see that for sure in the last photo in this slide because I was really trying to take a Todd Hildo photo, and I think I got one. And in my opinion, it's the best photo I've ever taken, probably because it looks the most like a Todd Hildo photo, and he's like my favorite photographer. So this was at the end of the roll. I was like, dang, I really got to, I had like 5 photos left and I wanted to send it off as soon as I could. So I was riding my bike around town and just saw this little guy standing in the backyards of one of the neighbors. And I love this photo. I love this moment. It's special to me, especially the, I forget what these trees are. The name of them escapes me right now, but they smell so good this time of year. This was at a recent little excursion I went on where Music Bed, the one and only sponsor I've ever had on this channel, or the one and only legit sponsor, I guess, took us on this little getaway, and I got to make some new friends. That's Christian Schaefer. She has an awesome van life channel, and then outside of van life is just also an awesome photographer and filmmaker, and a good friend as of after the trip. And then this is Megan Tan. Similarly, was super happy to get to connect with Megan Tan. I call her the chosen one because she's just destined to be huge on YouTube. This was a great moment. I'm happy to call these guys friends. This is you can see Megan in the back. See, this one is I don't know if that's pre marshmallow or post marshmallow, but here she is eating the eating the Samour. And then we got Luke Corns, another friend of mine, best travel YouTube channel on the planet. And just, yeah, a solid guy that is continually challenging my perspective of life and reality and tangibility and stories and empathy and all that. And then, of course, there's Jake Frew. I wouldn't be where I am today without Jake Frew. And here's a photo also from Casa Bonita of my little sister about to go into the mouth of the beast. She looks pretty scared. Legendary photo of, again, all of these photos just evoke so much. Like, I can feel this photo. I can feel the musty, humid air in that weird mini golf vibes cave. Just a good moment. And then if you watch the most recent main channel video, you'll know that it was about river surfing. And so this is a behind the scenes photo of my friend Luke, who helped film and take photos for that video. He's a legend, and we've been getting into river surfing together, and just one of my best friends in town lately. Super grateful for him, and we just have been having the most fun ever learning to river surf together. So, and then this is the photo, ladies and gentlemen. I posted this on Instagram, and it didn't get a lot of engagement, which I just don't really care, because, gosh, to me, this is just like, this is the greatest photo I've ever taken. It does not top this. The mystique, the aura, like, people are so concerned about what's the sharpest photo ever, or what's the best, camera with the best specs or whatever. Like, this is low res, grainy, blurry, and this photo has more character than any other photo I've ever taken. I like how the car is literally the center of the frame. I like this tree over here and how it's just getting blown out by something. I don't know if that was the flash on the camera reflecting against my windshield. I don't know why these like bokeh marks are this weird like Volcom shape. And then just the mysteriousness of these trees over here. It's the perfect photo. I've wanted to take this photo my entire life. And the fact is, if this had been generated, it would mean nothing to me. It would mean absolutely nothing to me. But because I lived this, I was here. That's the thing. That's the point of all of this. That's the point of all this artwork we make, all these things that we're making. The fact that we're smashing tons of money through our film cameras, and getting the scans back on the other side and feeling the feeling that I feel when I look at this photo is because we were here. I was in this moment. And this photo I feel like this photo does a better job telling other people what this moment was like than my words ever could. And so I'm thankful for it. And the fact that I had to walk across the country metaphorically to get here just means so much more to me. And I think to anyone that knew the backstory, they'd feel the same. Do not be totally freaked out about artificial intelligence. Your story, your existence, the fact that you are here right now and you could come and smell the cottonwood tree outside my apartment, that's what matters. That is more intriguing, to me at least, than any sort of randomly or even algorithmically generated content that I could ever see. Your life matters, your story matters, and God, how awesome is it to be alive? To really be alive. Not just conscious, but alive. Okay, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching this video. Go check out the main channel video. I put a lot of work into it. Made a lot of new friends making it. I've got more coming down the pipeline, but I'm trying to shoot as much as possible on film. So that has slowed my workflow down a lot. But whatever, that's life. All right, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.